Okay, guys, I want you to picture this. It's 1959, and you're in the Ural Mountains, this frozen, godforsaken place that feels like it's the end of the world. You have 9 hikers, they're pumped, they're full of life, and they set their tent on this snowy slope called, get this, the Dead Mountain. They're laughing, they're swapping stories, while their breath is fogging up in the icy air, not a clue as to what's coming next. The stars are bright, but the darkness around them, it feels like it's alive. It feels like it's watching them, waiting for that perfect moment to strike. Then, in the middle of the night, something terrifies them so bad that they have to slash open the tent from the inside and take off running. Some were barefoot, some in their underwear. They left all their gear, their warmth, everything that they knew they needed to survive in that blistering cold. But they left it anyways. All we know is it didn't work out for these poor souls. Weeks later, their bodies turn up scattered in the snow. One has no tongue, another, their eyes are missing, another one's skull is crushed so bad that it looks like a machine hit it or something worse. These hikers were considered experts, so what the hell scared them so bad that they had to leave everything that would keep them alive? Was it nature, a secret Soviet plot, or something way, way darker? Okay, folks, tonight we're diving into something freaking creepy and really mysterious. So I just wanted to welcome my listeners and watchers back to another crazy episode of Relative Perspective Paranormal Confessions. As always, I'm your host, Steven, and in this episode, we're diving into the Dyatlov Pass mystery. It's a haunting story that's been driving folks crazy for 66 years, and it's still going strong. All right, y'all, I want you to imagine that you're in that tent. It's pitch black, the wind is howling, you have this nasty metallic taste of fear in your mouth, and then you hear something move outside. It doesn't sound like the wind, and it definitely sounds like something heavy. Your heart begins to pound like a damn drum. You grab your knife, and you run into that freezing dark, knowing you might not make it. Or do you freeze and pray that it passes? What would you do? Let's dive in together and see what these guys had to face. Okay, guys, if this story's already giving you chills, I want you to hit the subscribe button, toss us a like. It's how we keep these spooky stories coming. And also, it would be an honor if you join our spooky, crazy team of truth seekers. And if you have something creepy or, some kind of experience, I want you to drop it down in the comment section below, or you can email us at I don't know if it's that way or that way, but you know what I mean. The Relative Perspective 76@gmail.com. We may even showcase your confessions. I'm calling them confessions because that's the name of the show. Duh. Anyways, we may showcase your confession on a future episode. And share this with your friends who love a good scare. Let's blow this thing up, guys. I'd really like to see how many subscribers we can get at least in 1 week. Okay, here we go. Let's start with the facts. You got 9 hikers that died in the snow, but it's not just that, it's the freaky details. There's a tent that's ripped open from the inside. You got bodies half naked in minus 30-degree weather. You got injuries like something smashed their damn head with a sledgehammer. And the Soviets, they just slammed the book, acting like there's nothing to see. But 66 years later, we're still obsessed because it's like a puzzle missing half its pieces. You got a slashed tent, radioactive clothing, missing eyes, and these damn glowing orbs that a bunch of people saw. Was it a storm, an experiment, or even something not human? Every time you think you've got it, another detail goes and screws it up. This story is like a ghost that won't leave you alone. This is something that will stick in your head and make you rethink everything that you thought you knew. So, let's go ahead and walk through it step by creepy step like we were there. Okay, let me set this up because this is one of the things that adds fuel to some of the speculations as to what happened to these poor souls. It's 1959, and the world is tense as hell. You have the Cold War vibes, you got Soviets and Americans eyeballing each other, and you got spies everywhere. And their secrets piled up to your dang neck. Russia is like a locked down fortress. Nothing's getting in and nothing's getting out. And inside this fortress, deep in the Ural Mountains, it's like another planet. It's rugged, frozen, snow up to your knees, and wind that cuts like a damn knife. Into this mess go 9 hikers, young, full of fire, ready to ski up Otorten Mountain, this huge, nasty peak. They're not just out for a walk in the park. This is what they call a Category 3 trek. It's one of the toughest winter challenges they have. This is kind of like their Mount Everest. Imagine you're one of the ones signing up for this crazy thing. You're packing your skis, a heavy backpack, knowing it's going to be 10 days of freezing your butt off. But you're pumped, like them. It's something you've dreamed of doing pretty much your whole life. They pick a spot called Dead Mountain. Yeah, that name's a red flag, but these people were bound and determined to put this notch on their belts. It's called Dead Mountain because nothing lives there. There's no animals, it's just barren snow. Imagine you're with them, feeling the snow crunch beneath your feet, seeing your breath fog, thinking this is going to be epic. But there's this weird vibe in there, like the mountain is watching you. Tonight we're going to follow their last days using their diaries and photos and stuff they left behind, and we'll piece together what broke them, what made them run into the dark, and we're digging into the craziest theories. They got snow slides, Soviet cover-ups, and maybe something straight out of a nightmare. You ever feel like a place is wrong? That's Dead Mountain. Now, what would you do if you saw something that scared the hell out of you out there? I know exactly what I would do. Okay, this is kind of crazy to me. This story could have just faded away in the mist. Now, let me explain to you what I mean. There was no internet back then. They had no X to blow it up and no cell phones to shoot information back and forth. But it's like the mystery wouldn't die. You had families, you had locals, random folks that kept whispering about it. They were digging up secret files, asking what the hell happened on that mountain. It's been 66 years, and we're still hooked because it's so damn weird. You have those diaries, those photos. They pull you in. They make you feel like you're out there. And the cover-ups, that's what gets me, because something about this feels like it's hiding, like the truth is locked away. And here's a creepy thought. You're out there, you see something scary, something that makes your blood run cold. Do you shout it to the world, or do you bury it deep? Scared, it will come for you next. Because whatever those hikers saw, it definitely feels like something wanted it to stay in that snow. Okay, let's go ahead and meet these hikers because they're real people, not just names. And when you realize that, it makes it definitely hit a lot harder. Okay, first we have Igor Dyatlov. He's 23. He's the leader. This guy's the brainiac. He's an engineer student that always had his stuff together. His friends counted on him because he was just so damn good at this. He was definitely the guy that you'd want in a pinch, but his diary shows him stressing because he was scared to let his friends down on this trip. Then there's Zinaida Kolmogorova. She's 22. She's actually the heart of this group. She's tough, she's funny, and constantly she's writing down in her diary. She felt like these mountains were like her home away from home. I could just picture her laying under the stars and sketching while she's dreaming of her future. And her friends loved her vibe. She was always happy and always willing to help. Then you have Lyudmila Dubinina. She's 20. She's a firecracker. She's also an economics student, and she is tough as nails. She actually survived a nasty fall on another hike, but she just kept coming back for more. She used that incident to fuel her fear to overcome pretty much anything that jumped in her path. She's the one that everybody relied on to keep pushing the team forward. And next you have Alexander Zolotreyov. He's 38. He's the oldest. He's actually a war vet. And now I want you to remember this fact because later this fact fuels some speculation surrounding this mystery. He's definitely quiet. He's intense. He kind of seemed like he's seen some dark stuff when he was in the army. And some of his buddies whispered that he knew a lot of secrets, but he would never spill them. Now, these four that we, just discussed, they're tight. They're a really tight crew. They're kind of like the ones that you want to take on a road trip. Now, the rest of the crew were close, but not as close as those four. But let's go ahead and meet the rest of them. You have Yuri Durashenko. He's 21. He's also an engineer student. He's a total jokester, though. He's cracking one-liners, keeping everyone laughing. But records indicate that he definitely felt off before that tragedy struck. And I wonder why. Then you have Yuri Krevenashenko. He's 23, and he's a brainiac, too. He's a nuclear physics grad. And he's kind of like the tech guy of the group. He's fixing their gear, and then he's sitting by the fire and strumming his guitar. And he's always rumored to have said that he had felt something off on this trip as well. That should tell you that it's probably a good idea to follow your instincts. Just a thought right there. I don't know. All right, next we have Rustam Slobodin. He's 23, another engineer. He's super chill. He loves to write poetry and read poetry. And he's just an all-around great guy. He was another one that loved to go on adventures like this. Okay, then you have Nikolai Thibault Brignoles. He's 23. He's a construction grad, but he's always smiling. He's snapping. He's the one that snaps most of these pictures. His camera caught a lot of joy while they're out there, but maybe he caught something else on his camera, and we'll definitely discuss that later. Then we have Semyon Zolotreyov. He was 37. He was another military man. He was kind of like the outsider of the group, but he quickly became part of the pack. He was quiet and reserved, and some even speculate that he was there for another reason altogether, and we'll try to get to that later. And last but not least, we have Yuri Yudin. He's 22, but he actually had to bail out early because he had an injury. I think it was to his back, but I guess that was a lucky break because that probably saved his life. And later he said he'll never stop wondering what got them. And that haunts me because he had to have probably carried that guilt for the rest of his life. These guys were definitely like a family. I want you to picture chilling with Yuri's jokes or Nikolai's pics. Would you feel safe? Or would you catch that weird vibe as they did? So, late January, they kick off from a place called Sverdlovsk. Now, I got American tongue. It kind of doesn't work like Russians, but I'll try to get through this. And, I mean, they were all pumped. The trip was finally there. They're skiing through the snowy pines and wind whistling, laughing like it was the best trip ever. As they were making new friends along the way, but not realizing they were headed for their devastation. Their diaries painted a vivid picture. You got Zenaida cracking her jokes. Igor is busy doing his maps and routes, and Ludmila is sketching peaks. I can just picture all of them singing Russian folk tunes by the fire and passing bread and tea. It's like your dream camping trip, right? But then stuff gets weird. They begin feeling something heavy in the air. A local Bansi guy, they're kind of like the indigenous tribe in that area. They met them and they tried to warn them to avoid Dead Mountain. They kept saying it was bad. But like most of us in our younger years, they thought they were 10 foot tall and bulletproof, and they laughed it off, not knowing what was to come. Okay, it's January 31st, and they hit the mountain that local Mansis call Kholat Syakhl, which means, you got it, the Dead Mountain. It's a creepy name, but they're young and cocky. They've already met every challenge that was laid in front of them, and they thought this would be no different. It's freezing, wind screaming, and the snow is blinding. They dig a trench, and they pitch their tent, and they hunker down. This photo is actually the last photo taken of them before they died. Igor's diary mentions how strong the winds were, and that the visibility was way, way low. And they decide to hunker down and get ready for the grueling trip ahead. But Ludmila writes that something was wrong that night, like they weren't alone. Nikola's last photo is blurry, maybe just snow, or maybe it's something else. What do you think it is? Drop it down in the comments. Imagine you're in that tent, your stove is flickering, the wind's howling like it's alive, and you hear a scrape. It's not the wind, and it sounds pretty close. Do you peek outside with your heart pounding, or pull the blanket tighter, hoping it passes? Now this is where it all changes. This is something that you couldn't train for. In the middle of the night around February 1st or 2nd, that's when it hits nightmare mode. Like I said earlier, they were just kids, but they were considered some of the best in their field. What I'm saying is, they weren't newbies. They knew hypothermia kills, but they slashed their tent and run out into the dark with no boots, no coats. Some were in socks, some were half naked, in minus 30 degrees weather. They're definitely doomed without their gear, and you'd think they would know that. What could be so terrifying that they would rather freeze? I want you to imagine that you're there, the tent's shaking, a sound, not wind, like something's breathing outside. Your heart jumps up in your throat. Do you cut and run, knowing that the cold's waiting? Or do you stand your ground with your knife shaking in your hand, facing whatever is inches away? Let's see what these guys chose and why it didn't save them. Okay, I don't know what the heck's going on. I keep having technical difficulties. Apparently something's trying to keep me from finishing this video, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm hard-headed like that. But anyways, okay, let's get back into it. Days pass with no word from the hikers. Their friends and family are freaking out. They missed their check-in date at the next check-in point. And by mid-February, it's bad. The Uri Polytechnical Institute, that's where they studied, it rounds up search teams. They got students, professors, local Mansi guides, and even soldiers. They're combing the Urals, and the snowstorms are slowing them down. Imagine you're a searcher, you're a friend of Igor's, and you're trudging through waist-deep snow, and you're calling their names, hoping they're holed up somewhere. But the silence out there, they knew it couldn't be good. The locals whisper about the dead mountains, saying that bad things happen out there all the time. It's said that one old Mansi guide was telling them that spirits don't like the visitors out there. They laughed it off, but it definitely stuck. On February 26, a pilot spots something, a gray tent that's half buried, and it's flapping in the wind. His stomach drops, and that's when they start thinking the worst. Okay, the search team, they finally reached the tent, and it looks just wrong. It's intact, but there's a huge gash that's cut from the inside. Inside, it's kind of set up like a time capsule. They got their sleeping bags unzipped, their food, their bread, their milk, and it's all been untouched. The stove is half set, and their boots and coats are all there, like they'd be back. Now imagine you're a searcher, your heart's sinking, then you see their footprints. They've got 9 sets, and they're heading down the slope. Some are deep, like boots, but others are faint, like socks or bare feet. Now that's crazy to think that they thought it would be better to go out there barefoot in that cold weather than to try to stay in that tent where they had all their supplies. That's just insane to me. Now the prints that they saw, they started orderly, but then they kind of started to scatter, like they became panicked. Now imagine you're out there and you follow those prints, you hear the wind howling, and you feel like something's watching, and you gotta wonder, where are those prints leading you to? Well, as they follow the footprints, they lead right at about a mile away to a cedar tree. There is where they find Yuri Deroshenko and Yuri Krivnishenko. In their underwear, they don't have no shoes, by a pathetic fire that they tried to build, and apparently it didn't help them at all. Their hands were actually burned, like they were trying to get so close to the fire, and at least probably even grab sticks just to make themselves feel warm. Now, like I said, there's a cedar tree right there, and they noticed as they were looking, they saw some branches that were snapped off at like 15 feet up. It kind of looked like someone either climbed, maybe to get some wood for that small fire, or maybe to escape something, who knows. Now I know this is hard to do, but I want you to try to imagine you're standing over their frozen bodies and their faces twisted in fear, and the air is reeking like burnt cedar and death. You've got to ask yourself, what do you think they were running from? Would you have climbed that tree, or would you have ran back to the tent? What would you have done? Well, some actually decided to try to make it back to the tent. Halfway back to the tent, they find 3 more bodies. There's Igor clutching a branch, eyes locked onto the sky, like he saw something he shouldn't have. Zenaita's curled up, blood on her face from crawling through the snow. Can you imagine that? And then Rustam's got a cracked skull. It wasn't deadly, but it was bad. Their bodies were gray and frozen in terror. They tried finding the other missing hikers with no luck because the snow was just too high. Then May comes and the snow melts, and the last 4 are finally found in a ravine under 12 feet of snow. Ludmila's tongue and eyes were gone. Some say it looked like they were surgically removed, and her mouth was a bloody mess. Nikolai's skull was shattered with his brains exposed. Alexander and Simeon's ribs crushed, chests were actually caved in, but they didn't have any bruises, like it was a force that hit them from the inside. And their clothes were actually radioactive. Now, the reason why I think that's important is because there was a bunch of people miles apart that saw orange orbs that were zigzagging in the sky. Now, even a weather team that was like 30 miles away from them guys saw it. Now, I want you to imagine looking at these poor souls in the conditions that they were left in. The air was buzzing with unease. What in the hell do you think did this? Now, in come the Soviets. They basically screwed it up. The investigation was a mess. The military guys, they were trying to rush it, and they were trying to hide stuff for some reason. And the autopsies were sloppy. They were missing organs. And the final report, all they said was it was a compelling natural force that caused their death. That's it. I don't even know what that means. And the files were sealed, and they actually banned Dead Mountain. That nobody could go to Dead Mountain for years. Now, the lead investigator back then, his name was Led Ivanov. He later says, "I knew it was unnatural, but they shut me up." You have to ask yourself, who is they, and why do you think they shut him up? The family's got nothing. Why the secrecy? You're a searcher, you find Igor's camera, and the film is gone. And rumors swirl that they caught something, some like lights and shadows or something bad. And what did they snap in their last moments? And who made sure it vanished? Now here come the theories, and they definitely get wild. All right, we got the first theory, and they claim it was an avalanche. It was maybe a slab of snow that roared down and scared them. They ran off, and then they froze. It sounds simple, right? But I think that's bullcrap, because the slope that their tent was on was like 15 degrees, and that just doesn't make any sense. No, I don't believe it was a big slide. And they got searchers. They didn't find any debris. The tent was still upright. It wasn't buried. And the footprints were neat and not panicked. I mean, right there by the tent. And those injuries. Avalanches don't crush ribs without marks or rip out tongues with surgical precision. Then they blame scavengers for Ludmila's eyes, but there was no tracks. And the radiation and orbs, snow doesn't do that. And the locals, like a Mansi elder, said that the mountain doesn't kill like that. All right, now speaking of the Mansis, like I said before, they're the indigenous tribe that was around that area. Well, they tried to say that maybe some Mansis came and attacked the 9 hikers, but these people weren't aggressive, so they basically put that on the back burner. They realized that these people didn't do that. Okay, the next theory we have is what they called katabatic wind. It's a freak, heavy gust streaming down the slope, but it sounds like a beast. It could have spooked them, but it still doesn't explain the crushed bones or the radiation. Now, in 2019, Russia actually pushed this theory, but it's like they're still trying to cover it up, and I don't buy it. It kind of sounds like a lazy attempt for an excuse, or they're still trying to hide the facts. And the families definitely deserve better than what they're getting from these people. Another idea is infrasound. Now, when the wind goes through the pass, it can make like a low frequency wave, and you don't hear it, but you feel it, and it makes you kind of panicky, sick, like something's hunting you. They claim that tigers can do this to their prey, and that's kind of how they can easily jump on, what they're hunting. Now they've done some tests in labs, and it shows it can make you see shadows or feel like you're watched. I would actually try to play some infrasound on here, but I don't want to drive you people crazy. But anyways, but maybe that's why they bolted. But it still doesn't cover the crushed bones, the radiation, or the orbs. It's like, okay, they freaked out, but why? Imagine you're in a tent and a vibration hits your skull, your chest gets tight, and you see shapes moving outside. Do you trust your head, or do you run forever scared it's real? Okay, guys, I want you to picture this. You're a hiker out there, waking to glowing eyes outside the tent. It doesn't look like an animal, and it damn sure don't look human. The eyes are glinting in the snow. You got your knife in your hand shaking, and the wind is screaming. Do you face those eyes, or do you slash and run? Okay, guys, let's keep hitting these theories. We got the Cold War conspiracy now. The Soviets were testing insane stuff in the Urals. They had nukes, dirty bombs, you name it. Now, what if the hikers walked into some kind of secret test? Their clothes had what they call beta radiation, and that's not natural. That doesn't occur in nature. So maybe it was a failed missile or some kind of radiological weapon dusted the area. And those orbs, they could be like a plasma glow from a blast. Now, those crushed ribs and bruises, it kind of sounds like maybe like a shockwave hit the side. Now, remember, Ludmila's tongue was gone. That could have been possibly chemical burns or animals that ate that tainted flesh that had radiation on it. Now, some say the diaries mentioned a strange hum in the air, maybe weird tech. Now, it said that military trucks rolled through thereafter and took up a bunch of people's cameras. They might have seen a bunch of tests that they shouldn't have seen. It definitely gets crazier. The Soviets were messing with sonic weapons. They got the sound waves that can disorient enemies. Maybe a pulse hit the hikers and made them lose it. Now, it said that some of the diary entries noted that there was a lot of unease, and infrasound can cause terror, or crazier, a Soviet UFO that's not aliens but a secret craft. The Urals were like a big test hub. Those orbs could have been like prototype flares leaving radiation, moving like tech that no one had in 1959. And like I said before, Alexander being in the military, he might have recognized some of that gear, making him a target. Files seem to have mentioned strange lights, so imagine you're Ludmilla, seeing a glow, and the ground shaking, the air is buzzing like it's alive. Do you hide or do you run into the dark? Let us know what you do in the comments. Now we're going to dive into the paranormal territory. The Mansi talk about the mink, a Yeti-like thing. He's huge and he's furry. He's got glowing eyes, and it's said that it will kill anyone on sacred land. Nikolai's photo showed a blurry figure that's too tall. His arms were like long and weird, but skeptics say it's a hiker, but it's creepy. You got the crushed skull, the ripped tent. Something strong caused those injuries. So what was it? Locals call Dead Mountain a cursed place tied to spirits. A Mansi legend says 9 hunters died there centuries ago in the exact same way. Zenaita's diary hints at unease, like the silence feels heavy tonight. You hear twigs snap, see eyes in the dark. Is it a monster or a spirit guarding the mountain? In my opinion, anything is possible. Next we have the aliens theory. That night a bunch of people saw orange orbs, not stars. They were dancing in the sky. This was tech that they didn't have back in 1959, or we think they didn't. Like I said before, a weather team saw these things miles away. They're moving against the wind. That's what's crazy. They put 2 and 2 together and realized that they saw these lights around the same time these hikers went through whatever it was that they went through. Now, this is just a theory. They had radiation on their clothes, maybe a UFO's engine, with crushed bones, missing eyes and tongue, maybe like alien surgery. It kind of reminds me of those creepy cattle mutilations. Rumors say Igor's camera had sky shots, but they're gone. They say they showed weird lights, and Yuri Yudin said they saw lights before he left. Imagine your Nikolai snapping orbs, air humming, skin prickling. Do you keep shooting that camera or do you drop it and run? So we have a bunch of theories. What do you think got them? Was it the avalanche? I mean, they didn't have any debris. They had no signs of an avalanche. Then they had infrasound. That explains the panic that they had, but that doesn't explain the crushed bones. Now you have the Soviet test, the radiation cover-up, but that doesn't explain the terror. Then you have the Yeti and that creepy photo that I showed you earlier, but no tracks. Then you have aliens. Those orbs and that surgery vibe is really wild. The main thing that we know is it's a huge mess. We have 9 lives. Igor's plans, Zenaita's dreams, and Ludmilla's guts ended up in pure fear. Their diaries and photos and footprints scream something awful. Yuri Yudin, the one who walked away, carried their ghosts, saying, "I'll never stop wondering what got them." And the Soviet natural force line, that's just lies. The files in the 90s show the radiation and the orbs, but they still don't have any answers for these guys. I think this haunts me because, that could be me. That could be my family. That could be like friends that I know. Now, what do you think happened? Was it a conspiracy, a creature, or cosmic? I hate calling this a tale because it actually happened. I think that's disrespectful to these guys. But basically what I want to say is that, what happened up there at Dead Mountain with those hikers, it sticks with you. It's kind of like a warning. There's some places and some secrets that you damn sure don't want to mess with. But on a lighter note, I want to thank you guys for watching. This has been Relative Perspective Paranormal Confessions, and I'm your host, Steven. And I want to give a big shout out to our team of truth seekers and you for watching. Now, listeners, keep these mysteries alive, so go ahead and subscribe, like, and share, and check us out on all social media platforms. We'll have the links down below in the description. And again, if you have any creepy tales or stories that you would like to share with me, go ahead and email us at relativeperspective76@gmail.com. Until then, stay curious, stay safe, and maybe avoid mountains named Dead. Again, thanks for watching. It means the world to us. God bless you. We love you, and have a good night. Did it. Done. Later, Gator.